Hear this one. So you think giving them Wi-Fi, PlayStations, Sky TV is a deterrent? Prison is an after-school club for adults. Mental health and career criminals need to be separated.
It's interesting because the Wi-Fi, PlayStations, Sky, haven't heard that one actually, but they come up a lot. I've never had Wi-Fi in prison. I've never gone on a PlayStation in prison, and I went to 4 different prisons and never had Sky.
All right, cool. I've had a PlayStation personally. Yeah, but it's a PlayStation 2. Let's get that right. PlayStation 2 is basic.
Okay, regardless, it's a PlayStation.
It's a PlayStation, but it's a PS2.
Okay,
so for example, I'm just saying, no one out here uses a PlayStation 2. Let's get that right.
Fine.
Yeah. And you do get Xboxes, Xbox 360s.
Okay.
Not the latest version. So they're not used out here. There's no one out here that uses
That's fine.
it. Just saying.
How long can you use? How long have you used it for, and when?
No, you can buy it. You can buy it. It costs you like 60,
okay, so you have it in your
60,
cell.
70 quid to buy it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But in order to buy that, you got to save that money on your canteen sheet. Yeah, and you have to be enhanced. It's not like you go into prison and here you go. Here's your PlayStation and your TV. Yeah, and it don't work like that. You need to behave yourself. You need to save the money on your canteen sheet, which you only get to spend like 20 quid a week.
Also, I'm not saying this because I'm like, you shouldn't have PlayStations. I think, if somebody's in their cell and it's hard looking at 4 walls all day, like every single day. So I'm not coming at that angle. I'm trying to address it for people that say, oh, they've got PlayStations.
Yeah.
Well, this is actually what you have to go through to get it.
Yeah.
And also, it's not healthy for the brain to have zero kind of stimulation. So having a PlayStation, I mean, I'm kind of glad you were able to sit there and have some fun on a PlayStation.
Well, let me just break this down, yeah? For this person or people that think like similar to this, yeah? Boom. I challenge you to sit in your room with no TV and nothing for more than 12 hours. Try it. No phone, no one else with you, no PlayStation or no gadgets, no Wi-Fi, and have a seat and just see how long you last. You won't last half an hour.
It's like meditation, isn't it?
Yeah, but I guarantee, like if you're do it half an hour, and then imagine if you're in a cell that's not comfortable. You've got 4 walls, you've got bricks, you've got a bed and a toilet right there. Like,
and of course,
let's be real.
People may be thinking to this, well, they deserve it. Like, what do you expect? But this is another whole story because. And we're not going to dive into it right now, but there are so many reasons why people end up in prison. So we can't look at it so narrow-mindedly.
It's not a one-size-fits-all. It's not a blanket ruling.
So somebody in there has to go through it, and you might not actually think they do deserve that. So I just want to encourage people to open their minds and understand that that's a person in there that might not have done what you think that they've done.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to the after school club. I'm trying to think what I used to do in after school club. I'm sure I went a few times.
After school clubs are like little youth centres, or like you've got an actual like thing, like
you're doing something.
Yeah.
It's hard to find things to do in there, and you have not got people around you encouraging you to. This is my imagination of our school club. The teachers are encouraging you to make something or do something or interact with the other children.
Yeah.
Like you don't get to do that. You have to find something to stimulate yourself inside your own cell, which is tough.
I just think this person who's dropping this comment hasn't had anyone close to them that's been inside that can give them the reality of what it's actually like in there.
And we're not talking about open prison, we're talking about closed conditions.
Talking about standard prison, yeah.
Open conditions, again, you have to work really hard to get there.
But yeah, like after school club, no, it's not that. Like whatever this person thinks, it's not that. It's not a social club.
But I do remember after school club being something that I didn't want to go to.
I hear you. I hear you. But
so that kind of relates.
Yeah,
very
maybe.
Smallly.
Maybe. But yeah, that's wild for me.
Okay, and the last bit?
Cool. I think if this person means people with mental health conditions or going through like a bad patch with their mental health, and career criminals need to be not to be in prison at the same time, as in people with mental health issues need to be treated maybe in hospital or in the community, I agree. Yes, definitely. In my experience, prisoners with poor mental health don't do well in prison because prison's not there to cater for that, right?
Yeah.
So in that regard, if that's what they mean, I agree. But if they're trying to say that, I don't know what you're trying to say there. Like,
well,
if you're
I think
going
if
on
we're
the other
going
way.
on the first bit,
Yeah.
I do, like, this is a topic we've spoken about before. Some people, prison is not gonna be good for them, and they need other help. But also, even if you don't have mental health, let's say mental health, and maybe you just did something, I don't know, as some people may say, seem just silly or stupid or whatever. Again, there might be another road to go down before prison as well, but I think that comes with the sentencing and that kind of stuff. So there's elements of truth in that, if that's what they meant. All right, let's go to the next comment.
Let's go to the next comment. So the next one, it's not meant to be Butlins. It's not meant to be Butlins. And have you seen prisons? Some look a whole lot better than Butlins. Really?
I don't think I've ever been to Butlins.
I've been Butlins before. It is definitely not Butlins.
Actually, I did go to Butlins once.
Yeah.
I did
ago.
go. Well,
when I was young.
Obviously, they're exaggerating.
Clearly.
Have you seen some of these prisons? They are so bad.
All right, so a Victorian prison I've been in, I don't want to be, call them out, but there's rats and cockroaches, in cells. In the cells, there's cockroaches and rats and mice, So let's get that straight.
Did you see them?
Yeah,
in your cell?
Live and direct, and I was out that cell. I had to get out that cell. Furthermore, you've got rats, like warring pigeons on the exercise yard, and rats are actually eating and catching pigeons. I'm telling you, this is on the exercise yard. This is what we're dealing with. Like, we're doing pull-ups, trying to exercise, and below us is rats beefing pigeons.
That's wild. So I definitely saw rats, not in my cell ever.
Well done.
But on the grounds, just chilling, roaming around.
Didn't you say you saw rats and ducks?
And ducks,
before?
yeah. So we used to have ducks roaming around.
Yeah.
And then rats roaming around, and their whole little family, just a lot of the time. But let's talk about actually how it is inside. Look, we can't vouch for most prisons. You might have been to most of the men's prisons.
Yeah.
But I've only been to 4 out of how many of the women's. Yep. But even in the nice prisons, getting ventilation in your cell, actually outside fresh air is you
difficult.
Can't. You're talking about tiny little ventilators where dust is just there, and if you breathe it in, you're just breathing in dust. To some cells that were just the environment that you're in, it's not nice. You're not in a nice, clean smelling environment. It's bad.
What I'd encourage people to do is check out reports from HM chief inspectorates, because they publish reports, I think annually, but they do produce reports quite often, and they're in prisons a lot. Go and read one to let them know about the state of prisons, because it's not Butlins, they're not like hotels, it's not 5-star treatment. We're in a cell. Let me describe a cell to a person, what it's like. A cell is, 6 by 12 feet on average, so 6 feet wide, 12 feet long. In there you've got a bed, you've got a desk, a chair, a toilet, a window.
Not a toilet with a door.
No, not a nice toilet. I mean,
ceiling.
an open toilet right there beside your bed, a toilet seat. And then a sink.
With no lid.
Sometimes you don't have a lid.
Yeah.
And then you've got a sink. So you've got a sink, toilet, bed, desk, chair, and a small little wardrobe, if you're lucky. And not even a wardrobe. It's probably the size of a chest of drawers, but it's nothing fancy. That's all you got in the cell. And
a window that doesn't open.
And a window that may not open. It might be a vent. That is your so-called Butlins, Is that really Butlins?
There are some countries Well, obviously they do look better than what they have here.
Yeah.
And we see that the reoffending rate is so much lower.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's not Butlins. But also, we are dealing with humans here.
Yeah.
So if they don't have something, like when you mentioned the pull-up bar, some people might be listening, or, you know...
It was a makeshift one, by the way. It wasn't like a proper pull-up bar. It's just like some bar that we could hang on.
Yeah, but like some people might think, why do they get that? Or like... But we're talking about humans that we all are wanting to try and rehabilitate, or should want to try and rehabilitate, so that the community is safe.
Yeah.
And so that they're safe and everyone's happy and healthy,
yep.
right? People need something as humans, otherwise we don't do well, and that is just a fact.
Yeah, I think if you think that we're living in Butlins, then you should take a visit to prison yourself.
But we see this a lot, so... Yeah, we just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, just clarify. Not saying that, you know, I'm not saying that it was horrible, like all the way through my sentence. I'm just saying it's not Butlins, in it. And at the end of the day, yeah, I did do something, and I did have to face my time inside. But, you know, the punishment in its own self is being in prison. So the prison being worse or terrible or awful is not part of what the judges sent me to prison for. Do you get what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's Butlins for you, boy.